Hi, my name is Dan from Plan to Hike, and today I wanted to go over a few things that might make your next backpacking trip a little bit easier. If you're not a seasoned hiker or backpacker and you're looking for a place to start, um, getting out in nature, seeing the things that are around you, maybe going to some places that you've never seen before that you've always wanted to go, you all have to start somewhere. Not everybody is born experienced, and everyone has to figure out, what works best for them. So I have a few tips to kind of get you to that place. And we've been backpacking and hiking over the last 10 or 15 years in all different parts of the United States, and we made a trip to Iceland a few years ago and had a great time. But the biggest thing that you need to decide when you get started is not what can you buy at REI or the local hiking store, but what kind of hiking or backpacking do you want to do? And that all starts with figuring out where you want to go hiking. I think that really starts to dictate all of the rest of the things that you need after that. So, whether or not you look on, if you Google the local hiking trails in your area, if you talk to friends, if you see some things that you've always wanted to do, you have to plan where you want to go first. Once you figure that out, everything else kind of falls into place. So, like I said, there are lots and lots of ways to figure out the different hikes in your area. You can look at the Far Out app, which covers a lot of big trails. You have Onyx Maps, which is a backcountry mapping system. You have Gaia GPS. You have All Trails. All those things list hiking trails in your area, and in particular, if you pick a trail that you like, often it has reviews, so it can tell you about what does the trail look like, what do the conditions look like during the time of year that you want to go. It provides you with a lot of information you really need to study. You need to try and gather as much information about where you're going as possible so that you have the greatest awareness of what you're going to see. So once you've figured out what hike you want to do, the next thing to figure out is when do you want to go, what time of the year, because each one of those things, whether or not it's in kind of those boundary seasons, the spring or the fall, where you're going between a warm day and a cool night, or is it in the middle of wintertime when it's cold both during the day and at night? Is it in the summertime? How much humidity is around? All of those things factor in because you have to manage your sleep system, your tent, the layering that you have to bring, all based off of those things. So once you figured out where you want to go and you figured out when you want to go, the next piece is how long do you want to go? And why that's important is because it dictates a lot of other things. If you're only going, for a day hike, you can get away with a 22-liter day pack, just enough to bring a raincoat, some food, and water that you're going to need because you're going to start that hike, you're going to come back in the same day. If you're going to stay out for, say, one night, maybe you need a backpack that's like a 34-liter pack. And this is going to give you the opportunity to put in a tent, a sleeping bag or a sleeping pad, clothes, food, water, and some essential things that you're going to need if you're going to be out on the trail overnight. And if you're going to be out for multiple days, well, your pack needs to get a little bit bigger. This is a 65-liter Atmos from Osprey. All the packs that you've seen are Osprey packs. I happen to like that brand. I'm not sponsored by them. I just like the pack. You're going to need something like this to be able to manage multiple days out on the trail, especially with multiple weather conditions where you may have to bring multiple layers of things, and you're going to need a lot more stuff to carry with you. Certainly, there are all different kinds of versions of backpacks, and when you're first getting started, I suggest you start slowly. Get a nice day pack that that you can get out and see if that's really what you like to do. And if you really enjoy it, get a pack that's a little bit bigger. I suggest you borrow stuff from friends first to make sure you like it. Hiking and backpacking can be a very expensive activity, and you don't want to dive right into it and then buy a bunch of stuff and then find out once you get out there that you really don't like it, or your partner or your friend really doesn't like it and they don't want to do it again. So borrow some stuff from folks. Rent some equipment from places that are local to you that perhaps can let you go and get a good idea of what's out there. So we talked about figuring out where you want to hike to begin with. We figured out, when do you want to hike? Not just the season, but also the days of the week. Are you going when no one's around, or are you going when there's going to be lots of people? And then lastly, how long are you going to be out there? And those three things really start to define what you're going to need. So now that you figured out where you want to go, when you're going to go, and how long you're going to be out there, the next thing you need to do is truly plan that route. Like I said, the Far Out app, the Gaia GPS, the Onyx maps, they all have detailed routing capacity. So you have the ability to go from where you're going to start to where you're going to finish, if it's a loop or if it's an out and back. And you can see exactly where the water stops are, if there's water. You're going to be able to see where the camping areas are. If you're going to be staying overnight, you're going to be able to judge the terrain that you're going to be going across, which is going to help you with selecting the type of footwear that you're going to be wearing. It's going to help you select the clothing that you're going to need. And it's going to help you kind of be really familiar with what you're going to expect. Because the last thing you want to do is get surprised when you're out on the trail and you find an obstacle or a section of the trail that you're hiking that you totally were not prepared for. The beauty of that often is that you can turn around and go back most of the time. But if you do your research ahead of time, you're going to be more prepared for that day, especially if you're taking someone who is also new and you're having that experience together. You're going to give yourself the best chance to be successful in your hike. The last thing is prepare yourself to some degree. If you're going to go out just for a 5-mile out and back, I think just about most people can do that. But if you're counting on walking long distances with weight on your back, do some prep work before you go. It can be as simple as walking, 2, 3, 4 miles a day, just to walk, get your legs used to walking. You don't have to go and work out and do anything crazy. If you're already that athletic, then you're going to have a leg up. But don't be afraid to go to your local park or to your local wilderness area. Take your backpack and all of your stuff, throw it on your back, and go walk around for a while. You get out there and walk around. Don't worry about what you look like. What's important is that you get a good feel for the backpack that you're carrying. You get a good feel for the gear and the weight that you're carrying. Because you got to remember that in that pack you have to have just about everything you need. You have to have extra clothing depending on the temperature. You need to have a raincoat in case there's a storm. You have to have your tent and all the things that come with that tent. A sleeping bag and a sleeping pad. You need to have a way to carry water and food. And all of the stuff that you're going to need just in case. A first aid kit. Depending on if you're going to be in an area with no cell service, you're going to need some kind of device that you can notify help with. So part of being going out on the trail is being self-sufficient. Don't forget you need to have a small trowel. So when you go to the bathroom, you have a way to cover that stuff up. So that other people don't find it. You have to pack out everything that you take with you. So you got to have a place for your trash, and you got to be mindful of all the animals that may or may not be in the areas that you're in. So there's a lot of things that you need to think about when you're going out there so that you can have the best time that's possible. So that's why planning is so important. And like I said, knowing where to go, when you're going to go, how long you're going to be there, knowing the route that you take, and then making sure that you are prepared is going to really make a difference for your experience. Hope you guys got something out of the video today. It's just really basic stuff. There's going to be a whole lot more videos to come. The channel is relatively new. So if you liked what you saw today, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, tell your friends about it. And we look forward to talking to you soon. Bringing together some more information series. And then we're going to start capturing our hikes as we go on our adventures over the weekend so that you all can see that too. So thanks again. This is Dan from Plan to Hike, and we'll see you next time.